All right, what better place to be than on a beautiful sunny day than high on the hill, College Hill, Geneva, with my dear friend, my familiar Geno DeMarco. We're going to talk all about the big game, but here's what I want people to understand. And we've been out all over the place this week. We've been talking on the radio. We got the big game show coming up with the Coons Market folks, of course, Greg Dulles and Ted Arnaud, 2 hours on Sunday. There's so much that goes into a football season. And by the time you get to this point at any level, there's so much preparation. They're already hard at work getting ready for their next season here. And that's where we begin with the coach's life. And he's been doing it a long time. Talk about your new O coordinator who's in the building today, sir.
Really excited about it. I'm just thankful for Geneva College and making a commitment to the football program. And we were able to hire a very experienced coach in the triple option.
He's a guru, I hear.
Well, I don't know about a guru, but he's old school and he knows the triple. And honestly, you know this after talking with people that are successful. If you're a successful person, you always hire people to do things that they can do something better than what you do. Hire the people that can do things that you can't.
You got ties to Georgia Tech with this guy.
Yeah, but it was crazy how the whole thing came about. And he answered an ad that we had put in about this game and wanted to come to a Christian college. He was looking for a place that would run the triple option.
Nice.
And his wife had actually had known about Geneva before and said that's the only place that I would go north. And here we go, we got him. So we're excited about that. I'm excited about what we're doing with our coaching staff. Excited about what's happening with recruiting right now. Just a lot of great things, and it never ends, as you know.
I know.
It doesn't end. But right now, the staff that we have put together, these guys are doing an incredible job of getting out and talking about what we have here in the state of Pennsylvania, which is the Geneva Tuition Promise. And the Geneva Tuition Promise is for any family that earns less than $70,000. And if the student receives any type of Pell Grant, they got to apply, get accepted, and they come to Geneva for tuition free. So that is a huge, huge thing.
It is.
And we're, as a staff, we're taking that to the streets. So.
And welcome, Mr. Taylor.
That's a Doobie Brothers reference anyway.
I remember them.
Yeah.
Long hair, bass player, Michael McDonald. Yep. Tom Johnston. But anyway, Mr. Taylor, welcome. His significant other, thanking my friends at the University of Pittsburgh, how God works in mysterious ways. She's going to work for the food company at the university, and she's got a job. He's got a job. They're part of the community. They're here, and we're already thinking about Golden Tornado football. But we're also thinking about this big game. You know, a lot of things happening in the coaching world. Steelers just added 3 more. There's some things happening now. Bill O'Brien leaving Ohio State already. Boston College and Chip Kelly now saying goodbye to UCLA and going to Ohio State. So it's just, it never ends. But what's your thought process? Because you were such an anomaly. I mean, you were a young man when you got this job. Young man. And that's a rare thing in any aspect of coaching. But it seems to be the trend in the National Football League to where arguably, I don't think there's an argument, but the greatest coach in the history of the game, Bill Belichick, even though they're saying he turned down the Atlanta job, he won't be on the sidelines next year, and that's kind of sad. What do you think about this whole thing about we got to go young, we got to think young? Tomlin was young, Cowher was young. What do you make of that? You were young.
Well, I think, at our age right now, it's a big discussion because we're on the other end of it, I think the other thing that I would look at is there are some people that have hired, experienced guys. I think they're looking at a DC for the Cowboys. That the guy's been in the league forever.
Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, and it's
my age.
Yeah, and that's a make or break deal for those guys this year in Dallas. I mean, between the two of those guys, and he's a Pittsburgh guy that's running the show there. You pull for them. But being a Steeler fan, there's just no way that we can sit here and hope that the Cowboys do well. And if you got any hate mail, please send it to Rob Pratt in care of Rob Pratt.
Right.
But now you see it happening. It's a mixture, and so we brought an experienced coach in. But I will tell you this: I've got in our staff a lot of great younger coaches.
It helps.
You have to have a blend. There has to be a blend of it. And, you know, with the young guys and their creativity, the young guys that I have on our staff have taught me so much about, Coach, this is how you can connect with the kids today. This is the way we have to do it. And that's the big thing. And that's what's going on. You look for coaches who can connect with their players. And whether you're older or you're younger, that connectivity, it's about, as we hear all the time, building that culture in that locker room.
Well, I don't know. It's just exciting. But then you have a guy like Ben Johnson in Detroit says, and everybody wanted him, no thanks. And the reason being is, and why Mike Zimmer is going back, why Rex Ryan was supposedly interviewing to go back, these coordinators in the bigs are making big time money.
Well, let me tell you this. There's a fella that was a former Pittsburgh Steeler. He's from Clemson. He's played sparingly. Great guy. And we actually had him at one of our football camps. And he's on the staff now at Clemson. That's where he played. He may have been a free agent. He might have been drafted in the late round. Well, whatever. But I looked at Dabo Swinney's staff, and 9 out of 10 of their assistant coaches are making $1 million, at least $1 million. So the coordinators now are heading to 2 in D1. And, you know, in the NFL, you just don't find out what anybody's making but the football thing isn't going away. This has become entertainment, and now, let's not kid ourselves with everything that's going on in Division I and this free agency that's happening. I believe in capitalism. I believe the player should get something.
Makes it tough, though.
It makes it tough, and you know, but I think if we took a step back and we looked at history, and we said, well, this stuff it's unfair. Let's go back to years when there were 100 scholarships in Division I for football, and there would be coaches who would take kids and give them a scholarship and had no plans on playing them,
right?
Just so they won't play against them. You know, and a guy down in Alabama was the king of it, and they probably had more than 100. So, although this is like something, it's just, the world is colliding. I mean, just absolutely colliding. You know, I heard this on the Feinbaum show the other day.
He's good.
You know, you got this deal going on between coaches in the NFL leaving positions in the NFL to come to college as coordinators.
Wake Martindale just went to Michigan as defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and you get guys leaving exactly. And you got the SEC sitting down with the Big Ten and trying to put together some things, and whether or not they're trying to do it inside or outside of the NCAA. You see states suing the NCAA because of violation of what the Supreme Court stated, that these athletes are allowed to go. And then on the same day, I think at Dartmouth, the men's basketball team was deciding if they should unionize because a court ruling said that they were employees of Dartmouth. I mean, this is like, there's a lot of stuff colliding in
well, the one
in football.
Nick Saban's going to be in the booth now and on game day with ESPN, so I'm excited about that. I really didn't want to see him leave the game because he is such an asset to the game, so I'm happy about that. But explain the whole chain of command to me at a D1 school. You've been there. Graduate assistant. How's the pecking order work?
Well, if you're a graduate assistant, which I was, that happens either one of two ways. In the old days, it was like, hey, do this, do that, go get this piece of paper for me, whatever. You had to win the respect of the people around the table who had full-time jobs. And just to be able to get a graduate assistantship back then was a huge, huge thing. Unfortunately for me, Larry Bruno knew someone on the staff at Georgia Tech, and that's how it happened.
Well, that's how it happened.
Yeah, so, but, you know, did I get an opportunity I coached the younger guys, But at West Virginia, it was completely different. Coach Nealon used the GAs and put them at different positions. Like we had a graduate assistant who coached the tight ends. But those tight ends were part of the offensive line, so the full-time guy would oversee. And then I got an opportunity in the spring to coach the strong safety, and then in the fall, coach the nose guard, which is in the, people are thinking, oh, you coach the nose guard, the guy in the middle. But still, it was a great opportunity, and I had the accountability was I had to evaluate the kid on film. I had to make sure, and I was treated like, something happened at the nose guard position.
They were looking
Coach
for you.
Nealon was yelling at me, exactly. And so you go with the graduate assistant, and now you've got these different titles. You've got interns, you've got people quality control, you've got guys coming in. You're going to hear this director of football operations. I even see people hiring general managers now in college football, which what does that mean? Basically, you get guys that are on contracts that can go to a place for limited money, and they still got money coming from the old contract of what they got fired from before, and you see it happen everywhere. So then you got your position coaches, and then you got your coordinators, and the coordinators have now just exploded into this position, especially the offensive coordinator. And the reason is because, we think about these games that we're playing and Madden and all this other. I mean, this stuff now goes back, blah, 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 and everybody's a coordinator. I think the toughest job in all of football, being the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
You tell me.
Artie Smith's going to find out.
You tell me who was readily embraced.
What does he bring to the table?
Well, I mean, obviously, he developed a guy, when he was at Tennessee, and that guy had a decent run. He's got to see. Coach Tomlin's got to see something in him, and he'll get his guys, and that's the tough thing. Like, you said that there was a movement at the receiver position,
Right.
It's just
see Hines Ward get that. But
yeah, and you don't know. I mean, it's just a lot of it is just based on this is the way we work together somewhere else. So they understand the terminology, whatever. It's truly remarkable. I have not seen this much movement on both levels.
This quick. We're not even into the off season yet.
No. I mean, yeah, and you never would see the, you were just talking about Chip Kelly. Where's he going?
Looks like Ohio State
To be the coordinator,
offensive coordinator.
and his reason for getting out?
Probably money, and because of the program's a couple of steps ahead of UCLA, and that whole conference out there, forget about it, man. It's a mess now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Why did Bill O'Brien leave so quick? Because he wanted to be a head coach again. I don't know. I mean, he spent time at Penn State, obviously, before spending some time in the pros. Here's what I don't understand about this game that I love. It's my life at all levels. And listen, if you're a student athlete, I can't recommend any place any better than this, especially if this is the type of football you want to play. The atmosphere is great. The facilities are off the charts. The education is second to none. Faith-based. Your kids are safe here if you're a parent. You got a guy like him, his coaches. I mean, it's a family thing. I mean, I actually got here an hour before we went live to tape, and this is joyful. It's peaceful. It's kind of like a mental refresher for me after a long day yesterday as we get ready for another long day. So this is an incredible place. But the thing that upsets me about the game, there's no room for error. It has to be now. It can't be, even like Lamar Jackson, all this questioning, and is he ever going to win the big game? He just won a second MVP, but it all comes down to one game, and all the pundits are saying you can be this, that, and this, but you still have to win the big game. Is Patrick Mahomes the greatest of all time? If he loses this, that means he's back to square one and he starts over. Andy Reid, is it just Patrick Mahomes? I mean, enough already. That's why I wanted to do this with you, to let people know there's so much that goes into that 160 minute of football that everything's riding on, right? By the time you get there.
For that game, I mean, the closest we got to a big game on our level was playing the team, Finley won a national championship, And for us, that was a big game. And what people don't realize, when you've got a really good program, whether it's, you know, in the NFL or college, even at our level, if you've got a really good program, unless you win the whole thing, somebody's crying in the locker room at the end. Because think about it, unless you win the whole thing. And so much goes into this, and I don't even know, because I just talked to friends that have played in this game, and obviously with David Girardi being one of our guys, a lot of it is just managing that the game is different because halftime's longer, you know, whether you, how do you prepare for it? But the idea that you brought up about there just seems to be, you got to do it now. We have more media exposure than ever.
Mm-hmm.
We've got more social media platforms than we've ever had before. We've got more, you know, people just giving their opinion on things. And then I'm going to bring this up, and this is something I really don't want to get into, but, you know, legalized betting has absolutely just consumed America.
Yeah.
And it's, so I mean, we looking at football, like, to me, I look at football and I look at the game and I look at what are they playing there. You know, San Francisco is going to come in on with what's called a compact formation, and you would not see that like 10 years ago. It was all spread. So one of the reasons
the guy who used to be the coach out there in Benedict, Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
49.
Well, he ran. Actually, Bill Walsh ran an offense that was very similar. You know, you could pass and you could run out of it.
Right.
So then everybody else was going into the spread, and that spread offense was like, oh, we're going to defend against this, that, and the other. Well, today in college football, if we got people that are running 4 wides, we call it 10 personnel. That's the easiest thing to defend. And these kids are going to all these 7-on-7s, blah, 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 blah. So now you get this whole generation of like people that have played in 2x2 in spread offenses. Well, Shanahan gets together and he learned it from his dad, and they go back and see what was going on. And if you look, San Francisco is probably number 1 or number 2 in the league on being able to use what we call just compact formations. And they create another gap. And so the idea is you got everybody in the middle of the field, and the way they run their play action with that kid at quarterback, now you got so much going on. There's so much eye candy in the front. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, that offense is just unbelievable.
You know some football, young man.
Well, the other side of it is now you got a team like the Chiefs who will run up, you know, they're about middle of the road as far as this compact formation. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to go into the whole technical thing of what that means, but it puts an extra gap in the defense to be able to run the ball. But the Chiefs are so good because they know that they're not going to tip their hand. They know exactly where they want to be. They're about smack dab in the middle as far as spread formations and as far as these tight formations.
Let me ask you something, because you got Brock Purdy,
yeah,
Mr. Irrelevant, last player taken in the draft. And obviously you had Montana and Young out there, so they've had great quarterbacks in Frisco. And you got Patrick Mahomes, who right now is going for his next, and that would be 3 back-to-back. Been there 4 times, 6 consecutive times AFC Championship, nowhere near 30 years of age, a few years away. So there's a lot of things going on. So let's just focus on a quarterback. What is it that you know as a coach that you are watching something that could develop into a good quarterback? What do you as a coach look for in a young person who wants to play at the next level, here or of course further up Division 3, 2, 1, whatever, and then of course the pros? What do you look for as a coach?
Well, I want to say this. I mentioned David's name, Girardi's name. I mean, he has never talked to me about it.
Explain who he is.
Well, he's the quarterback coach,
right,
for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, he's coaching Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
He has never got on the phone and said, Coach, this is what we're doing with them. This is what we do offensively. I don't cross that line. You know what I'm saying? But
you as an individual.
Well, I'm going to tell you with David. If we looked at what did I see in David Girardi, mm-hmm, number one, with any quarterback, you've got to look at toughness. and I know that sounds crazy because as a defensive guy, we always thought, like Lambert thought, the quarterback should be put in
skirts.
Okay,
you
but
looked
David
at me
was one of
saying
the
that.
toughest guys because he would have the ability to extend a play, get hit, get right back up. You look for leadership. You look for somebody that's gonna be able to take charge of a huddle. I saw this at Georgia Tech in my very first year and marveled at the fact that our quarterback, John Dewberry, was 5'10", 5'11", reminding a lot of Brock Purdy. This guy took that offense, and I'm telling you, when he walked in the huddle, he had such command and respect that you've got these 6'5", 310, 20-pound linemen looking at him. And at times he would just absolutely embrace them, and in other times it was like, this is my huddle, you screwed up, blah, blah. He would confront them. He was just an absolute field general. So you're looking at somebody, number one, are they tough enough? Number two, what kind of leadership skills do they have? And then number three, I think you got to look and say, okay, can the kid either run? If you're running the triple option, you better have a quarterback who can run, or can he throw? And they told me this Mahomes kid's got, he's just, I don't know what makes, he throws the ball at different angles, blah, 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 and I don't know. I grew up with a quarterback. My brother David was a quarterback,
Right.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
The rest of us have all been defensive guys. David had an incredible, Dan Marino. That's what Dan Marino's his pass, blah, blah, blah. That was his guy. He'd do all that stuff.
Right.
But now you got a guy that can throw the ball like that.
Well, he said baseball. He believes in baseball, and playing baseball helped him a lot. So that's what he says. But I think it's also a gift from God.
Oh, it's God given him, but he has this innate ability to be able to play
Here's
background.
what's ironic.
He's playing backyard football on the highest stage against these people that are chasing him. These are like,
but
there's not many.
As big as this game is,
yes,
you've got the quarterback coach here, and the man who really put this game on the map, Joe Namath, played on this field.
Yeah.
Think about
the NFL game on them.
Oh yeah, Super Bowl III.
I think they just did a thing that he may have been one of the most influential players in the entire league because he brought the two leagues together.
Listen, all I know is it's just a small world, really, when you think about it. It's the recipe. It's the secret sauce.
So you're telling me that based on that field, there's something about that field that's impacted the NFL?
Yeah.
You really believe that?
Joe Namath, and what number did Joe Namath wear when he played here?
Johnny Unitas, 19. Why do we have a BF on the 19-yard line here at Reeves Stadium? Because that's Joe Namath's number, right?
And where did Johnny Unitas grow up and play for the Bloomfield Rams, semi-pro, got cut by the Steelers, grew up, mother of the Mary Mount up front. So I'm just saying, Babe Pirelli, who was the backup in that game,
on and on.
was from Rochester. So
yeah, you don't have enough tape on your. You don't.
All right, let's. And I think if you are responsible, the betting thing is okay, but you got to be responsible. And I'm just going to tell you, they're a slight favor, which I'm still having a hard time figuring out. But when you look at all of the components, and this is where I want you to do some X and O's, and we'll let you go. So defensively, how do you stop Purdy, who is a really solid football player? Played at Iowa State. Make no mistake about it. You can say what you want. He's a good football player. He's 2 years in the league, and here he is, okay? I like the young man. But you've got Dabo Swinney, who is really an old school type of player.
Dabo Samuels.
Yeah.
I bet you Dabo Swinney would do pretty good in that offense, too.
Yeah, right. Samuel is a player that reminds me of a guy who's just going into the Hall of Fame, Devin Hester. Could do anything.
Yes, good one.
Could do anything. McCaffrey, it still proves that the running back matters in football. Pacheco's a good hard runner, too, but McCaffrey is really good. You've got, I think, Kittle, who is a great blocking tight end that's going to be needed against Bosa and Chase Young and that just onslaught of tough defense, Chris Jones rather. Okay, as I was saying, you got Kittle, who's a great blocking tight end, and you're going to need him to stop Chris Jones, who is relentless. You're going to have that extra offensive lineman involved here. So what I'm getting at is they've got so many intangibles, and really when it comes down to it, you got Rice, you got Pacheco, but really it's Kelsey and it's Mahomes. Last time out against Baltimore, 11 for 11, incredible. I still, though, with you got Mahomes in the backfield, how do you go against Kansas City?
Well, I mean, just being a defensive guy, just looking at what both teams do, I mean, it's a nightmare. And you look and you say, okay, how do we want this thing to happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at it and say, all right, we got to take that guy out. We're going to take that guy out. We're going to take that guy out. Before you say it, and you say, well, we're going to double him, and you're thinking we don't have 12 guys on defense to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the whole mindset of how both offenses work is just, it's just an amazing thing. Like when I look at a football game and everybody else is looking I'm looking at the strategy, the beauty behind how they orchestrated the play, what they're trying to do. And this thing is just, it's two great offenses that, know what
That front
happens.
four, and I was kind of getting to this earlier, and I got ahead of myself, but when you have Bosa and Chase Young, who was no slouch at Ohio State,
No.
never really got a chance, was injured in Washington, I mean, they're going to, even though they're a good offensive line, Mahomes is going to be challenged like he's never been challenged before, I think. But I don't think he's ever played against a team this good on the defensive front four as Frisco has. And they're all healthy.
Yeah, the thing that I think Green Bay did something, because Green Bay moved the ball. I mean, Detroit did something.
Jordan Love's a pretty good football player. Jordan Love's a pretty good football player.
But
And they're
you
young,
look at
too.
Yeah, I know. But look at what Detroit did. I mean, Detroit moved the ball. All right, and I don't know. I mean, for me,
Goff's been in the Super Bowl, so he's a pretty good player.
yes, yeah, he's pretty good.
And Campbell's a lot like you.
Yeah,
You know, he's a motivator. He gets people, and you probably would have went for it on fourth down too.
No, I'm not going to second guess him or anything like that. It's just some of the, never mind. But I don't know. In games like this, everybody's like looking at the quarterback. Everybody's like, hey, can you win a Super Bowl if your quarterback plays average? And the answer
Yes.
in Pittsburgh is what?
Terry Bradshaw.
Well, no, because if you remember the first one,
They ran
Ben,
the ball with Franco.
The first one that Ben played, he was.
Oh, Ben. If you want to talk about Ben.
But can you win this one with defense? And here's the difference.
Steelers have.
Oh my, yeah. But that's. Oh, and then they decided
But
to
Bradshaw
change
really-
all the rules.
Even though got an MVP, I mean, he'd be the first to tell you. I mean, it was all the intangibles.
Yeah.
He was great. But
Did you see the defense? The people that were on that defense,
Kelsey, Greenwood,
the people that were on the
Mahomes,
offense.
White,
Nobody
White,
talks
Joe
about
Green,
the Steelers'
Lambert,
offensive line.
Ham,
Why is it that we always talk
Green.
about the guys that made the Hall of Fame, and we'll talk about Wade, but we don't talk about the other guys on that offensive line?
Mike Wagner, a guy that nobody ever
No,
talks
no.
about. Four of them, so steady.
All right, so here's the deal. I'm just going to say this.
Go. What's the deal?
All right, if Kansas City's offensive line blocks San Francisco's D line,
They win.
they win. If
How do you stop
San Francisco's,
Bosa, though? Oh.
if you've got San Francisco's offensive line protected their guy in the back, because they're
That's what it
sending
comes down to.
5 guys out at times.
As much as I would like, because I'm a fan of Andy Reid and Kelsey and the whole thing, Mahomes, but I'd like to see a guy like Purdy prove to everyone just to get into the league, just to play.
He was good.
Yes.
He was a good quarterback
It just-
at Iowa State. People don't realize
What it takes to get
what
to that level.
Oh, no doubt. And what Iowa State was before and what they're doing now. I mean, that is a great program. He ran that program. I mean, they had such, it's just, he's got it. He's got these intangibles. He's got he's got his players playing for him. And, obviously with my heart, because of David, I'm going to be,
How long ago was he here, Geno?
oh my gosh, I don't know. I was just looking at a picture of him downstairs. I don't even know. Hey, 2009 maybe. It's hard for me to put
That's
these.
amazing.
2009, 2010. I don't know.
Where's he from originally?
Well, his family's from New Ken and Tarentum and that area. All right. And then, but when we recruited David, he was down at St. Pete Catholic, outside of.
Pretty good player.
Oh yeah. Here's the thing with David. if David doesn't break his left, and that was the first left-handed quarterback that we recruited, which was a stretch. He broke his wrist his sophomore year or junior year, and he couldn't get enough tape out, and we got a steal. We got a steal. We really did. But he didn't start his freshman year. And he came in and he played some. But we're in this room. I mean, I had to kick him out of this room. This film room. Dave, it's time. I'm going home. You're going home. Get out of here.
He loved it.
He absolutely, he was just, I mean, and he would look at the minutiae. I mean, he would absolutely look at the stuff like.
So if you were coming to the Brighton hot dog shop with me tonight, and I know you can't, what's still your favorite there? I mean, that stuff has got to be running through your veins all the years you went to the one in New Brighton. Same here. But you know what my favorite thing is there? Wedding soup.
You're doing the wedding soup thing?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Trying to watch
I just got to say this,
good people.
With Frank, Mark, there's just
and Alex.
Yeah, just great, incredible people.
But you realize what they've done for us. Ron, think about it. Geneva College, we did the shows, all the high school stuff.
All the stuff.
Long before anybody else jumped on the bandwagon, they were there supporting local sports.
They were, and I thank Frank Papa for all of that. The only thing I'm going to ask is, I think you need to be one of those hot dogs on a plastic cup, and we'll end it at that.
Wait, can I tell you something? Here's how I want it to end.
Yeah.
Not now, years from now, when Mr. Diagardi makes the monument, okay? I want somebody to stack my cup with my image right on top, baby.
That's a goal of anybody in Beaver County.
Listen,
if you could get on a hot dog shop cup.
Ron Cook.
Yeah.
It's all good, though. Hey, what about Cookie retiring?
Yeah, that's...
Legend. Remember he used to cover all these little games?
He did.
He started here.
He lived on the same road as Coach Sullivan did. I mean, he did start here.
Pompeiani started here. A lot of legends started here.
Yeah.
You know what else I miss? And man, Geno's doing a great job. I think about Bob Bergman every time I come over.
Yeah, it's tough.
And also, the greatest baseball beat writer in the history.
John Pratte.
Oh, legends. I don't think these people realize that I idolize them. Chris Shovlin, idolize him, the best. When I go to Robert Morris, idolize these folks, and I idolize you. So what are you going to do Sunday? You going to watch it at home?
No,
You're going to a Super Bowl party?
No, I am going recruiting, of course, and I will not be able to watch.
What's it like doing that today?
What, recruiting?
Yeah. Do you enjoy it as much?
I think when you connect with the players and the family, it's just incredible. I get an opportunity to share about Geneva College and what makes Geneva College different. So in a sense, I really get to talk about Christ. I get to talk about what we're trying to do with these young men, the mission of getting to know who Jesus really is. And I don't sugarcoat it. It's for me, if it wasn't for Geneva College and it being a Christian school, I mean, I transferred here because I needed it, and it's not, I don't have to sell anything. It's just, when it's in your belly and it's part of you, it comes out. I can tell you though, it's, to be able to get, 55 kids in for a year, I mean, we got to talk to a whole bunch of people.
There's no better place, though, to watch a football game.
Well, I know, but the problem is, you're up there watching a football game. The guys who are playing aren't up there with you watching a football game. They're on the field, and this conference we're in is really, really good. We got some incredible coaches, incredible programs, and if you're going to play ball, why not play against some of the best?
Well, you truly are a dear friend. So, who do you think does win this game?
I'm going to just say this, and then we're done. The team with the most points.
Geno, DeMarco, Mr. Pratt, we continue to count down to the big game. Don't forget all the X and O's, everything you need to know. Coons Market, Black and Gold Sunday show this week after local news at 11. And I'll have those Coons Quality Food Sports reports for you tomorrow and Sunday morning. It's Saturday already. These days go.
Legend.
Worker. Have a great day, everybody.